Hi, Hi everyone, this is Sean, and I'm doing my first move, and I tried using I have my YouTube account before, but it got taken down because I kept using regular movie footage instead of my own stuff. So I thought with my new account I'd try something new, do movie reviews. And this for the first review, I'm doing my new favorite movie ever, The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey. Um, when I first went to see um I actually did not know about this movie until I had gone to see The Dark Knight Rises in theaters. So I went to see Dark Knight Rises, and then I saw the trailer for this in theaters. I was like, oh my god, they're actually making another movie. And to tell you the truth, I did not know anything about The Hobbit prior to seeing this trailer. 'Cause I had never even read the book at all. I never read the book growing up because it wasn't something that I was familiar with as a child. I wasn't even familiar with Lord of the Rings until like 4 years after Return of the King came out, and that was when I went to my friend Kenny's house, and he got me into the series. So I've been a fan of it ever since. But as for the movie, once I saw the trailer, I started looking up stuff online about Hobbit and all, the movie and the book. And I first heard it was a two-part movie, which I'm sure everyone heard. But then when I heard it was 3 parts, I figured, okay, maybe they're gonna do that to even it out with Lord of the Rings, or maybe Peter Jackson just wanted to tell more of a story, maybe both. But when I first saw this movie in theaters, I saw it opening day on December 14, 2012 at 11:30 in the morning. So it was like one of the first showings of the day. I went and seen this in the theater. And I had a great time. I really don't think I can say much without going into spoilers, but being this movie's been out for another about past 4 or 5 months, I think everyone's seen it. I can go into spoilers if I want. This movie starts out with a narration by Ian Holm, who plays the older Bilbo, who basically narrates what happened to the dwarves, how they lost their treasure to the dragon Smaug and all that stuff. And then we open 60 years later with the the real beginning of the novel, which was um, Gandalf meeting up with Bilbo and I guess if you want to say forcing him to go on the journey, I guess you could say that, or persuading him, whichever. Apparently, Bilbo was a kid who was always adventurous, always wanted to go out on an adventure, and then now, years later, Bilbo is a gruffy, stuck-up hobbit. More into protecting his mother's possessions than he was adventures. So when Gandalf sees this, he thinks that the adventure would be good for him to get him pull him out of his shell, which I thought that was cool. And then Bilbo is met up by 13 dwarves, one of which does not think he's suitable for the journey, and that is Thorin Oakenshield. And he just doesn't like Bilbo at first. But like with Fellowship of the Ring, this movie takes about at least an hour for anything to get set up. Really. But I think most people say this one was the slowest to get started out of the 4 movies. But I loved it. I loved the best. This to me was the best of the 4. And there is, for those who have read the original 1937 Hobbit novel, there is a scene in this movie which, above the whole film, was my favorite scene of the most. And it was the Riddles in the Dark scene with Bilbo and Gollum, and everyone says Gollum looked better in this one, but to me, Gollum just didn't really look all that different. Because the only difference was the muscles. They made the muscles look like they were real muscles, basically. The skin was the same. The only thing they changed was the under, I guess, I don't know what you call it, undercoverings or something. But that's pretty much all they changed, really, was the muscle movements. But you gotta figure, it's been 10 years, so the digital technology is updated ever since. And speaking of the digital, they went from people in suits to now digital orcs. Which is something that Peter Jackson always wanted to do, but the technology wasn't available at the time. so he had to do people in suits. I think the main antagonist of this one isn't Smaug yet, even on the book it is Smaug. But in this one, I think it was Azog the Defiler, who has a big beef with Thorn, or vice versa. They have a big beef with each other. I don't know. I don't think I've read. I think I would have known that if I read the book, but I never read it. Or Azog is not in the book. I don't know yet. I don't know if I read it. Hold on. Okay. But the Bilbo and the dwarves go to Rivendell, and we are met up with some 3 alumni from Lord of the Rings. Elrond, Galadriel, and Saruman, who at this time has not became a douche yet. He's not turned yet, we'll put it that way. But I think in one of the next 2 movies he might. I don't know yet. I really liked how they showed how Bilbo got the sword sting, here. Wait, over there. This one. And then it shows how he got the ring, but they changed it from the way it was in Fellowship of the Ring, which, I mean, yeah, that's one thing they could have done the same, but, with prequels, they do stuff differently. And I even noticed that Ian Holmes' hair was white, the way it was towards the end of Lord of the Rings. Not the way it was in the beginning of Fellowship, where it was gray, but that's just a nitpick that I can throw away. Because the movie itself was a very good movie. We also see, if you've seen Fellowship of the Ring, there is a section where Bilbo says that he had a counter with 3 monstrous trolls, and they were all arguing about how they were going to cook them. In this one, we get to see that, and I thought that was a very good thing we got to see. I'm going to put this down, my hand's getting tired. But like I said, I can't go into this movie without spoilers, I think I just did. And this movie ends with it. You basically know there's gonna be 2 more movies. So this movie ends with a shot of Smaug basically waking up, which I think is kind of a scene they've been doing for a long time, since the movie Avatar. Because Avatar ended with Jake Sully waking up as an avatar in his avatar body, his eyes popped open, end of the movie. And then Breaking Dawn Part 1 did that with Bella waking up, and then now they did that here with Smaug waking up. His eyes pop open, and then black to credits. So this is like the 3rd time that I've seen this ending, but done very differently though. I swear they gotta come up with new endings, because if they're gonna use the same ending for years, that's gonna be just ridiculous. But I do like the ending of this movie, where Bilbo and Thorin, they become kind of friends, because Bilbo basically tries to save Thorin's life. I thought that was really cool, because even though Thorin didn't like him, Bilbo still wanted to do something nice, he risked his life for Thorin. Sorry, I said something to eat, but yeah, I think the reason why Bilbo did it is, even though Thorin didn't like him, he just wanted to do something nice. Maybe it would make Thorin like him if he did. So he did. He basically risked his life to save Thorin. That was really cool. And in this movie, for those who read the book, they know that Gandalf is in and out of the journey with the dwarves. So in this, they wanted to, in the other 2 movies, they wanted to fill in those gaps of where Gandalf disappears to for a large chunk of the book. And that's why we get to see the White Council with Elrond, Galadriel, Saruman, and Gandalf. That is where Gandalf was during that part, and all that other stuff. And then we also get to see a character named Radagast the Brown, who was not really in The Hobbit. He was more in, The Lord of the Rings than The Hobbit. He was only mentioned in The Hobbit. But I don't know why, but they just put him in this one. But I thought he was kind of a cool character. I did not hate him as much as other people did. I thought he was a really cool character. And I've mentioned that I saw this in the 24 frames at 2D. I do not go see 3D movies that much. Mainly because when I went to see when I was watching Spy Kids 3D Game Over, like halfway through the movie, my eyes started hurting and I had to take off the glasses to itch my eyes. So I just don't go see 3D movies that much, just for that reason. Especially with The Hobbit, my eyes would have been hurting like millions of times. And then plus the whole 48 frames. What I've heard from it, it is not even a good thing anyway. They say it's supposed to be more immersive, help with the headaches and all, and 3D and all. But that is not what I've heard. I heard that the 3D is complete opposite. That it takes you out of them. It takes you out of the film. That the 24 frames is more immersive than the 48. That the 48 takes you out of the movie. So I mean, I might go see Desolation of Smaug like that, but I'm not pretty sure yet. I might just go see the 24 frames, like I did before, with the Unexpected Journey. And now on to the cast. The returning cast members are pretty much the same. Ian McKellen is back as Gandalf the Grey this time. He was Gandalf the White in the last movie. Hugo Weaving from Lord of the Rings and Transformers reprises his role as Elrond. I don't think I could get any other actor to do that part. Cate Blanchett from the Lord of the Rings, she comes back as Galadriel, and then Christopher Lee as Saruman. I thought that was really nice. They got them to come back. Ian Holm and Martin Freeman both play Bilbo Baggins, but at different ages. I think originally when Guillermo del Toro was originally signed to direct this, he wanted Ian Holm to play Bilbo, but he realized that Ian Holm probably would not be able to handle all the stunts and the physical aspects. So that's why they kept him in the prologue for that part, which I thought was really nice. They at least tied him into the movies. And then, so he has a small cameo in the movie. And then, and then also have Elijah Wood in it for a cameo to kind of tie that into Fellowship of the Ring, which I thought was a really nice touch. And there are talks of Ian and Elijah coming back for the next two movies. But from where I'm thinking, if they're trying to connect all the dots, trying to bridge the gap between Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, wouldn't it make more sense to just save Ian and Elijah for the end of There and Back Again to tie that into Fellowship? And just not have them in the second one? But that's just my opinion. I'm not the one making the movies, I just make the opinions. But, and then they have Andy Serkis playing Gollum once again. Between Gollum and Caesar from Rise of the Planet of the Apes, I think Gollum is a better character for him, because he's played Gollum 3 times. Or 4 times now because of this. And I have read that even though Gollum was only in that one part of the book, he will be back in Desolation of Smaug. I can't say the same about There and Back Again though, but he will be in Desolation of Smaug very much. But yeah, I think Gollum was a better choice for him, not, Caesar. I mean, I liked him as Caesar, but in Rise of the Planet of the Apes, but okay, I'm getting a little too far off track. I'm getting a little too far off track here. Let's see. So yeah, Andy Serkis is back as Gollum for a 4th time. Well, 3rd time if you don't count. Sorry about that. 3rd time if you don't count his appearance in Fellowship. But if you do, then it's 4th time. And then they got, let's see, what was the guy's name? And they got Richard Armitage as Thorin. And then the other dwarves, I don't remember their names offhand, like their real names offhand. But when I was watching the video blogs on the DVD and on YouTube, I thought it was very nice how they had John Rhys Davies, who played Gimli in the original Lord of the Rings trilogy. I thought it was very cool. They had him come on set, and he got to meet his father, Gloin, who was in this movie. I thought that was really nice. And he's like, you lucky buggers. Just wait until Peter Jackson has you run up a hill in full pack. You'll be sweating a lot, or something like that. And then I just thought that was really nice. He was basically telling them about his experience in Lord of the Rings and his experiences in Lord of the Rings. That was very cool to see him. And I'm pretty sure a lot of the people from Lord of the Rings went to the premiere of The Hobbit. Sorry about that. I'm sure a lot of people from Lord of the Rings went to see The Hobbit, just to voice their opinions. And I read online that but Orlando Bloom will be in the movie. He's not in this one. He will be in the next one. I've read, which I thought that was a nice touch to bring in. They're trying to bring back the immortal characters from Lord of the Rings, which I think is really cool to tie the series together. Because Legolas does not appear in the novel, but they are. But you got to figure they're pulling from the appendices and other works probably. They're doing the novel and the appendices basically. They don't have the rights to Silmarillion or Unfinished Tales. The only thing they have the rights to are Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, and then the appendices in the back of the Lord of the Rings. So those are the three things they're pulling from. Well, they're not really pulling from Lord of the Rings. They just have the rights to it because of the trilogy they did 10 years ago. But other than that, they only have the rights to Hobbit and the appendices. So I thought that was a nice touch. They're pulling from the appendices, they're kind of stretching it out, making it longer. And I think the third movie I heard is supposed to be just basically about Bilbo's return journey, which is not even in the books. Which is not even in the book. I think that's in the appendices. I'm not sure yet. I'll probably figure it out when I go see the movie. But yeah, this movie I thought was really nice. It was a good story. It's basically the beginning of the journey, and I loved it. I really love this movie. I can't really say much more without repeating myself. So I think I'm just going to stop the video here and say that I love The Hobbit more than I loved Lord of the Rings, even though this is the first movie. I'm planning to go see Desolation and Smaug and There and Back again, just because I plan to see all three movies in the theater just because I missed out on Lord of the Rings. So I'm going to go see all three movies, and I'm really looking forward to Desolation and Smaug this December. And I just hope it's good, So, and I give this movie about maybe it'd be a 9 out of 10 for me. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Good prequel, a good start to the prequel trilogy. Yeah. So later.